Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or if this is your first time, hello, nice to meet you. This is Show with another TAC review where we break down a game's systems, AI, and cheese. Now, with October 2021 being a big release month for strategy games on the Switch, especially in Japan, I was happy to see this little gem on the release list on the West. Sorry about that. This review will be looking at the sequel to 2017's Caligula Effect, Caligula 2. Also, before we start, please subscribe if you enjoyed this review and leave your thoughts in the comments. It really means a lot and helps the channel grow. Thank you so much. So, let's dive in. Released in June 2021 in Japan, Caligula Effect 2, or just stylized as Caligula 2, can best be described as Persona meets Frozen Synapse Prime, maybe a reference lost on some. You play the role of a male or female protagonist who awakens in a world called Redo to meet a strange woman named Regret who welcomes you. After some review of the situation, you meet Key and create the Return Home Club. Okay, I'll stop that now. So anyway, you meet Key, a virtual doll who is the daughter of Mew, one of the protags from the first game. Now, if this sounds confusing, I get the idea. See, early on, this game makes a lot of references to the first game, as it is sort of a proper sequel. However, the story does well in keeping itself contained, so you shouldn't need to worry about playing the first game. It's one of those situations where having knowledge of the first game helps, but isn't required. Personally, I skipped the re-release version Overdose, so all I had in my memory was of the first game on the Vita. With that said, I know that those familiar with the first game would likely start pointing out all of the issues that were had. I'll make references to specific battle changes in the tactics section, but I can address two complaints from the original now: the music and the causality link. Whether or not you were a fan of the first game's music, Caligula 2, at least for my personal feeling, took a step in the right direction. I enjoyed the music from the first game, but there were times I felt it was just lacking, almost as if it was trying too hard in evoking emotions. With 2, the tracks just feel more refined, almost what I would expect from actual J-pop trends or Vocaloids. Also, a nice point was the removal of the lyrics outside of battle. Basically, the BGM repeats in the background when you are traveling on the map. Once the battle starts, the lyrics kick in, adding to the excitement. I really enjoyed this, as I wasn't getting too burned out of the tracks as I traversed the map completing quests. Now, on the topic of request, the causality link is back, and holy heck has it been improved. Now, if you recall the first game, at least the original release, the causality link was an utter mess. You needed to track down people, talk to them a lot, put them in your party, sometimes fight with them, level them up, and then hopefully you would complete their story. If you did this for multiple people in a specific class or group, then you unlock a larger overarching story, which wouldn't actually be clear to you. Well, that seems to be all gone. The new causality link system is streamlined well. You still find and talk to people, but the grinding seems to be gone. When meeting someone, you may just get a quest that is clear to follow in most cases, such as giving a specific item or having a certain passive skill equipped. Some quests even have their own self-contained stories that span over multiple people and episodes. In those cases, you'll be able to see the number of steps for completion. Rewards are also balanced nicely, giving more incentive to start early with uncovering the links. Character episodes are also back, and are unlocked through winning battles and leveling up your relationship bar. The game's central hub, known as Key's Train, is where that action happens. Here, you can initiate episodes but also travel to new locations, use some shops, and listen to the BGMs you unlock. All in all, the game is superior to the original in almost all ways. Performance-wise, I had no drops in handheld, but some of the textures seemed a little bit rough, especially around the edges of the character models. Admittedly, I did feel that graphics-wise, the game was running like it was on the Vita at times, with how rough those character models seemed, but it doesn't really harm performance or the overall experience. Rather, I imagine this is probably better optimized for the PS4, but I'll make do with its portability. Compared to the first game, Caligula 2 fully revamped its battle system. The game contains traditional jrpg mechanics with a timeline mechanic. Character turns happen on a countdown of sorts. Once your character's turn is ready, you'll be given a list of commands to choose from. After choosing a command, you'll select a target, then a simulation of the next few seconds will appear on screen. This will show you the probability of the actions occurring as well as the potential result. At this time, you can also adjust your action on the timeline by a few seconds. This can allow you to chain attacks, set up enemy counters, or just flat out dodge the enemy based on the data you were given. It's important to note though that once you've unlocked a command, there is no going back. Now, if you've played the original, then you may recall that all members have their turn together. We need to set up everyone's skills at once, then watch everything resolve together. This in some cases led to fairly fast battles as you could rush skills in a group. In Caligula 2, each person runs on their own timeline, which means you'll need to be extra careful in your timing when using your skills. Measuring too early or too late for one of your teammates can result in losing the combo or losing the stun, allowing your enemy to gain the upper hand quickly. I also want to point out that this feels really slow at times. The battles kind of drag on as you are constantly in the preview mode trying to figure out what the next best attack is. However, despite that feeling, I do feel that it offers a really nice system that allows you to really think hard about what you need to do next. Now, on the topic of skills, unlike the first game where you were presented with all possible skills to buy from the get-go, in Caligula 2, skills unlock naturally as you level up. Furthermore, the number of skills seems to have decreased, allowing for a more manageable battle experience. For me, this is a much better feeling as I'm not tempted to spam the same multi-hit gun skill every single time. This also enables players to take better advantage of the risk, break, and counter systems. For instance, if you use an ability that counters your enemy's skill, then you can stop their attack and then juggle them in the air, allowing for extra bonus damage. When inflicting damage, a risk gauge will increase and will break after 5 levels or so. The risk break functions as a stun and debuff, allowing you to score more critical hits for a short time. This also contributes to your stress bar, which when full allows you to unleash a sick limit break attack. Yeah, I love watching that. Now, finally, we have Ki, who can be used in battle when your voltage gauge is full. This functions as an alternative limit break as Ki will start singing, providing status bonuses and other temp buffs that are unlocked through getting Ki points from various sources. A last point to note is stats are modified through equipping stigmas. Stigmas are broken into 3 types: red for weapons, green for armor, and blue for accessories. Sometimes stigmas have abilities that can be learned by collecting skill points from battles. When you master these abilities, it gets added as a passive skill that you can equip anytime on top of whatever stigmas are currently equipped. This allows you to adjust your stats on the fly if needed. However, do note that abilities don't stack if you have the matching stigma equipped. In all, while the battle system feels slower, I really enjoy this more tactical feeling it has. This at least would be great for newcomers, especially considering how much time you're given. Veterans may be frustrated with how slow it's going to be, but I'm confident that you'll enjoy watching the stylish battles play out. In general, I keep my playthroughs on normal mode, as this is what I consider intended by the developer. Just wanted to make that clear from the start. So in Caligula 2, the primary enemy types are called digiheads, and there are multiple variations of them. Some appear to be straight gunners, others have a more knight warrior style, some of them heavily defensive with armor, and all have their own preferred skills and styles of combat. Furthermore, digiheads are willing and able to change their combat skills dynamically based on the situation. This is where the aforementioned forecasting system comes into use. Early on, the forecast will be close to 100% every time. However, as the game progresses, this potentially gets lower, meaning locking into a specific skill too early may shift the AI's response to counter you. I found this fun to manage as there may be situations where you need to perform a quick move action to progress the timeline more in order to bait the AI into a trap. And this is actually a smart tactic you should be employing, as many digiheads have power skills that are kind of like limit breaks that can only be stopped by using your defending action. So you'll need to push the timeline a bit forward to set up your defending action appropriately. Aside from the regular digiheads, there are bosses who are characters that control the power of songs. These are known as obligato musicians. Not too sure if I'm saying that right. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments, but these are basically sort of souped up digiheads that control the music of the area that you're in. Now, these bosses can be taken on in the same way as regular digiheads, but they have buckets of life and access to much more complicated skills. These skills require not only defending, but repositioning and even countering to take on. So it's extremely important to use your forecasting tool to get the best advantage you can. Even the first boss is really tricky with this. So the AI in general seems to provide a good but not overbearing challenge as the game progresses. This well-balanced approach works well for the genre and helps ease all types of players into the system. As I said before, I do want to note again that the boss battles, even early on, ramp up the challenge at the end of each of the dungeons or mission levels that you're in. So be sure to really experiment with the system, not only using your skills, but your defending abilities as well as your repositioning abilities. You may need to be thinking out of the box sometimes. So the flavor of JRPG cheese is that of carbonara, the endless grinding that is completing the map and KOing everyone in your way. The key to early strength then, aside from this grind, is to get working on those passive skills ASAP. These passive skills can provide substantial bonuses early on, especially after you master them and equip new stigmas. Remember also that the passive skills are imperative to completing the causality link, which awards more money, stigmas, and key points to upgrade Key's skills. On that note, break all fragments you come across to keep your voltage bar at max. Using your voltage bar in battle immediately resets the timeline to your turn for all characters. This lets you effectively interrupt the enemy's advance, giving you more breathing room to recover. And don't forget, using Key's song provides extra support bonuses with anything you've unlocked for it. Personally, I suggest getting the SP Saver and Counter skills. The bonus damage you can get from the counter skills if you should be attacked during the song is excellent to have. And keeping your SP high and not having it drained to 0 is a great way to manage long-term battles, especially against bosses. So keep that bar ready whenever you need it. Sadly, I believe this game will likely be passed over given its niche status. But it's truly a gem that has been greatly improved from its first game. The reformed gameplay systems and mechanics offer a streamlined yet engaging experience that makes it unique to the genre. I personally feel this is great for newcomers and veterans who want to enjoy a Persona-like experience and are looking for a more tactical, strategic battle system. Alright, thanks for checking out the review. I really hope you enjoyed it. It does take a bit of time to make these videos, almost 10 hours or more aside from the gameplay just to produce one. So if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. It really means a lot to me as a one-man team doing this. Also, let me know your thoughts about the game in the comments below. Is this something you're willing to pick up, or is it another backlog burner? Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, if the going gets tough, let's switch strats. Cheers!